Hello, it looks like we're live. Welcome, welcome. So excited to be here today. As you're joining in, if someone could send me a comment, and I'm going to get my Instagram going. If you could send me a comment and just let me know, yes, I can hear you, that would be great. Welcome. It's Tuesday, and here we are. Some of you joined. Hey, Haley, welcome. Some of you were included in last week's boot camp, and whew, that was so much information. And I commend all of you that took the time to go through all of the material, the content, do the homework, put pen to paper, really invest in making a plan for reinventing your business. But what I found after 5 days of teaching and getting feedback from people who were like, this is nuts. There's so much material. How do I implement this? How do I execute that? I realized that there was one common thing that I think ultimately was the root of many of the concerns that practices had. And I was thinking, I'm going to hear a lot about COVID and the pandemic, and a lot of those conversations were had, but really came down to the team of people that we have in place in our business to help us execute our vision. And I talk to you guys all the time about how we teach timeless business principles and apply them with modern tactics. And I'm going to tell you right now, team and corralling people to attack a vision is something that has been around forever and ever and ever and will never change. And so, which is why our academy is in fact called the Aesthetic Leadership Academy, because when something I firmly believe is that in order to become a better leader, we have to be able to invest and grow ourselves as human beings, and understanding how to inspire other people to go after our own vision. And so I wanted to take the time today to talk to you about some things coming up. And hello, Instagram. I'm live streaming to Instagram too today. I am actually in training in the Facebook group. So this is so cool because I can talk to, as many people as possible, because I'm so passionate about this topic, and it's so not sexy to sit around and learn. And quite frankly, many practices that I work with have like PTSD about management, right? Like, and I hear things like, look, Kaeli, I would accomplish anything. I would conquer the world if the only thing I had to worry about was me, and it weren't for the people in my business. And that may sound harsh, but as business owners, I understand, we're not taught how to properly lead and manage teams as we are truly opening our business, because we have a skill, we have a passion, we want to fulfill our purpose and our mission in the world. And so, it's one of those things where there's a lot of fear around it. There's a lot of uncertainty around how to manage team. And so I want to talk with you guys today, more in a Q&A format, because I got quite a few emails this week. So I want to talk through, I want to read to you some of the emails that I got of real situations that are happening with some of our clients, and also people who you just come kind of are new to our community that have concerns about how they're going to be able to adequately grow their business with the situation that they have, with the people they have. And so, some questions that I get a lot of are like, what's the best way to motivate an employee? Like, what's the perfect comp plan, And I have to like rewind 10 steps back, because this is totally normal, and our clients that we're building compensation plans for, as we're helping them hire people, I actually have to reel them back in to think about this. Like a compensation plan and what motivates somebody, those are two completely different things, right? And a compensation package should be a very fair negotiation that, fills everybody's needs. But what motivates somebody is a totally different conversation, right? The compensation should be approached as it relates to how it's going to produce profit for the business, right? And how that employee is going to effectively manage the results that it's going to take to bring profit for the business. But what motivates them is not the compensation plan. What motivates them is who they are as a person, what is their DNA, and what is your vision and your mission as an employer, and can they get behind that? Is that something that they want to be a part of? And I think we forget that. We kind of just are like, well, let's just, we need that. Let's fill that hole. And so I want to talk today about kind of the foundation of building a winning team and why I consider this to truly be the freedom formula for a business owner. And this conversation typically happens either early on in a business when somebody's opening a private practice or starting a business early on. And so they have some questions about how to set up their business. And then it happens years down the road when they're at the 7-figure, they're trying to get to the 2 million or the 3 million, and they want to push to that next level, but they're realizing that they're limited by what they're able to do by the leverage that they have within the people in their team. I became obsessed with leadership since I was little. I grew up playing soccer, and I loved the idea that I could be an influence and inspire people around me to make themselves better and to do things that could accomplish a common goal. And I became a captain, in high school, and I earned a full ride scholarship to college, and I became a captain of that team. And those were that kind of leadership component of teamwork really became a passion of mine. But it wasn't until I got into the corporate world and I became a manager that I realized that leadership wasn't quite enough. I actually needed to understand the skills of management. And they're two completely different things. And so I have a business degree. I took business management courses, but until I really became a student of management, which means AKA practicing the skill, right? Did I learn how to properly develop a formula that will work. And I think we have we're in a situation in our industry where we have a lot of brilliant, talented physicians and practitioners who are so incredibly skilled at what they do, but they really just weren't given those frameworks. They weren't given the system to learn how to become a great leader, how to become a great manager. And I know you hear a lot like born leader, natural born leader, and believe it or not, leadership is actually something that you can learn. It is a skill that can be taught. And so what I want to do with you is kind of help you understand the concept about management and leadership and wrap your head around why do we need employees? How do we find the right people? How do we manage them properly? How do we keep them? How do we keep them motivated, right? All these kinds of questions that I get. And ultimately, it comes down to becoming a better leader and manager as the owner, the leader of the business, right? Use that term leader a lot. Like you may be a practice manager, and these are some skills that you need to develop in yourself to be able to better manage and facilitate systems within your practice. And like I said before, the only way to become a better leader is through your own self-awareness. So it's going to start with you and really identifying where you are, right? And I have an upcoming, based on all of this, I decided to have not done this before. This is the first time that I'm actually taking 2 hours and preparing content in a Assemble Your Dream Team Mastermind course. It's a 2-hour course that I'm offering for free. I'm only inviting 20 attendees because I want it to be interactive. We're going to be on Zoom. I'm going to be answering questions, and I'm going to take you through my systems and my framework so that you can prepare yourself to build a better business that brings joy and satisfaction and a better vibe, right? A better culture. And hello, everybody. As you're coming on, if you have some specific questions, go ahead and put them in the comments so I can answer them for you. So I will have my team put the link to that mastermind. If this is something after today you feel like you need to be a part of, make sure you get in there. We have some space left, but it's going to fill up quickly. So, there are no replays. It is going to be an intensive. I expect anybody who comes through this mastermind to leave with a people plan in place. So I'm super excited about that. So I want to first talk about, let me actually start with an email that I got this week, and we'll say this is from Mary in Phoenix, okay? And I decided to share this with you because this is not the first or the only email or conversation that I'm having. I have a client right now that I'm literally working on this stuff with, and so I think that this is a universal conversation right now. So she writes to me originally asking me if she would be the right fit for our leadership academy. And in order for me to answer that question, I first need to understand what her ultimate goals are, right? So I asked her to send me an email and tell me, well, what's your 5-year plan? What are your goals? So she sends me this email saying the question of what my bigger, longer term goals is really made me think. I had big goals and I was working diligently toward them. I've been told many times I'm sitting on a gold mine. And if I could just mine it, I would have 10 times a successful business. I believe what I created has been successful. It's very much needed. It's accepted and very profitable. When I was devastated by an employee 2 weeks before COVID, I had been working for months on expanding and putting my policies and procedures in place so that I could grow with systems. God, where were you 2 years ago? I wish. Here now. As I write this, I'm heartbroken and I'm getting some real clarity and possible healing. I thought I had a solid foundation and good communication with this employee and I was blindsided. Okay. So we were a great team together. I still shake my head. How did I miss this? Now that I read this, so she goes on basically saying, there's this hiccup, COVID happened, things feel like they're completely changing, etc. Okay. So this is, thank you, Mary, for this. This is a very common conversation I'm having, right? So I'm feeling like I'm not sure what my plan is now because I had hired this employee and I've been training them and investing so much into them, and then things didn't work out or they left or whatever reason. And she didn't even have to explain this to me. But this again, it doesn't really matter how amazing you are at your skill as a provider. If you do not have the team to support you, or you don't have the structure in your business to manage this process, then you're going to end up feeling like so many of you have told me. You feel like you have basically PTSD. This whole concept around hiring is so painful because you have fear about what's happened in the past. And what happens at that, that 7-figure mark, and here this provider, she's got a booming business and doing everything she can on her own, and now she's hiring somebody else, training them, investing all this time into them, and then something happens, right? So we don't know what happened, but we'll just, insert your own story into there, right? Some sort of situation with the employee. And what happens is just to get to that point is a huge win. Just to get to the point where you've developed your business and you're even willing to bring on other people is major, because that is that point where you have to have a major mindset shift. You have to take yourself out of the equation where you have built that business with your bare hands, and it revolves around you as an individual, the way you treat your patients, your experience, your credentials, your techniques, everything that you do. And then you have to kind of allow somebody in on that, trust them with your patients, and facilitate the process basically of making this now not about you, but about the business. And that requires a major mindset shift away from control, right? Relinquishing control. And those of you who've watched my stuff before, I'm a control freak, so I could totally relate. And, so these questions like, why do we even hire people? And I think we kind of need to start by addressing that question. Like, why is it even important to hire people? We hire people on our team to produce a profit, right? Like, I think we kind of forget that. We have people that are like, in our business, or we hire them because we think that we need that role filled, or that job, or that's the next thing to do. But we forget that we hire them because they are going to be somebody who is producing and cultivating profits for the business to make the business grow. And so if you have employees on your team who are not doing that, you're not quite sure if they are doing that, then you need to take a hard look at why you are hiring that employee. Too often I see very successful practices that are hitting those 7-figure, marks, but then are not making profit because they're overwhelmed by this cycle of really the boomerang effect of hiring people and people not doing their job, and then having to make up for the things that they're not doing, and then getting burnout and exhausted, or having to hire new people, etc. So, questions like, who is the right fit for my business? How do I even know if I have the right people? And that again goes back to your vision and your value system as a business. And when I get questions like, where do I find the best people? Well, that's a legitimate question, but the only way to find the best people for your business is to know what your business is all about and what that mission is that you're out on your vision for the future. And have you found an employee who is aligned with that? Because ultimately, if you have not, the compensation plan won't matter. You can hire somebody and you can pay them $4 bazillion, but then when somebody else decides to pay them $4 bazillion and $1, they're going to be gone, right? So just like we talk about attracting patients for the quality, the offer that they're going to get when they come in, and the outcome and the result, that is the way we need to approach hiring people for our business. Okay. So if you have any questions, I want you guys to type them in. My goal with these sessions on Tuesdays going forward are going to be more Q&A. I want to make sure that, my time is getting a little crazier, and I want to make sure that what I'm bringing to you, if I'm coming live on a Tuesday, I'm answering specific questions that you have. So I'll kind of go through some of the list here of ones that I've been getting. And if you have questions for me, please be sure to type them in. Okay. So what is the best way to find good people, and how can I interview them to predict the future? Okay. So again, great question. So I will go back to, the mindset of who you're hiring and the DNA of that human being. Does that person, are you hiring them? I think write this down. This is something that is mission critical. Are you focused on just releasing pressure for yourself, or are you focused on producing profits? Because they're two completely different things. You're either hiring somebody who, for an employee for a job, right? So a job, checking boxes, clocking in, clocking out, very tactical, wants to be told what to do, constantly micromanaging what they're doing, right? That's an employee coming for a job, right? Or are you hiring somebody to become a partner for you in your business, who is going to help you perpetuate profits, who is going to be an independent thinker, who is going to have your best interest in mind when they're making decisions throughout the course of their day, right? They're going to be more strategic. They're going to be ultimately self-led and self-managed because they are in alignment with the goals that you have. Okay, so in how to find those people, well, it's like when you're dating, right? It doesn't mean that, like, just because you're going to end up dating and marrying one person doesn't mean there was only one good human being on the planet. You had to go through the process of understanding, knowing yourself and what you wanted, what was important to you, what your goals were. And then from there, making choices about who is going to be the right fit for you. So I would say that it doesn't matter. I have good friends who are talent agents, that are recruiters, that can go and help connect you with the right people. You can go online, you can ask by word of mouth. But ultimately, it doesn't matter where you find them or what the compensation plan is if you don't understand what your vision is. And I know, snore, vision. But I urge you to put some time into identifying and uncovering, unveiling what your mission is in the world. Because if you truly understand that and you hire people who are built around helping you accomplish that goal, then it doesn't matter. You can get them you can get them early on in their career and mentor them and develop them into that perfect employee that is going to ultimately take over your business, right? So we need to be thinking about what kind of business you're building. So I want to talk to you about some of the topics that we're going to cover in the masterclass coming up next week on Wednesday, July 15th. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's a 2-hour masterclass. It's free, but it's only limited to 20 people. There is a 4-part questionnaire that you need to answer to make sure that you're eligible to join. And we are going to be deep diving in on developing your people plan. So some of the topics that we're going to cover is what kind of compensation plan is the right plan for my employee, right? So how to develop a mixed compensation plan that includes benefits in addition or aside from financial benefits, right? How do I measure performance? So we'll talk about developing KPIs and what that means, and then how to actually have reviews and measure whether your employee is fulfilling the obligations of the responsibilities of their job or not. We're going to talk about how to know if it's time to fire an employee. I guarantee you right now, somebody here watching, if not half of you or all of you, have one employee that you bringing one more employee on or getting rid of one employee is going to create magic for your business. I'm working on this, literally coaching one physician on this right now. He's got this one employee that he's finally let go and literally life has changed, okay? And it's probably one of your first employees that you had. Because what happens is the business grows and evolves, and that employee may or may not grow and evolve with them, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that you can't bring an employee on early on and invest in them and training them to make sure that they are bringing you they're fulfilling your vision and bringing, initiating new ideas and concepts and tactics and strategies for your practice. But too often I see us kind of like allow an employee to hang around when they're not really producing profit for the business. And this is a dangerous cycle. It's a dangerous cycle to not only erode your profits and, you financially, but your culture on your team and ultimately your patients, right? When you have a better vibe in your business, your patients are going to feel it and see it and know it, okay? We're going to talk about having a culture reset. So I'm going to teach you this technique called the reoffer, which is basically developing new KPIs for your employees and sitting down with them and having a new post-COVID, right, pandemic reoffer based on the kind of new structures, this system I'm going to teach you, the framework of the visionary, the behavioral, the performance, right? So I'm going to teach you how 90% of the time we hire people because we want them to do a job, and then we end up wanting to fire them because of their behavior. And so we need to address that right up front. And this is a really good time post-pandemic to really take some time to reevaluate where the business is going, right? Where it is and where it's gonna be going in the future, and who are the right people that we need to carry that flag and that torch for us. We're going to talk about the best ways to compensate employees. We're going to be talking about leadership and management and who should be doing what and what part and how often. And I'm going to show you all of the tools that I use with my clients to help facilitate this process. You guys, once you have the system in place, it's easy. You don't have to be worried about the management stuff. You don't have to be scared of it anymore. There are proven frameworks. And so once you have these frameworks implemented, you will experience more joy in your business. You will make more money. You will be able to curate a culture that allows you and your team to have more fun every day and really produce a better vibe and just a better environment for you and your team so you can enjoy your business. And this will certainly translate to to your patients and, you know, all of the other things, all of the other elements of your business as well. So I know that everybody's super busy, and I just wanted to jump on really quick to give you an overview of some of the concepts, you know, questions that I've been getting, and the concepts that I'm going to be covering in the masterclass next week. So please go sign up. It's at my klcconsultants.com/dream team, and I'm going to ask my team to go ahead and put that in the comments for you guys as well. And you can go to, if you're on Instagram, the link in my bio, and you can sign up from there. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have some questions for next week, we'll be continuing on the same theme of assembling your dream team. If not, I will see you Wednesday for the masterclass. Don't miss it. We will developing your people plan. And thanks so much. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.